Welcome back to My Struggles Chronic, but I'm Iconic, where we are diving into a topic that touches the lives of so many, balancing work, families, and mental well-being. If you ever felt the weight of trying to juggle a demanding career while being present for your loved ones, you're not alone. In this episode, we're joined by the inspiring Emily, the co-founder of Em a revolutionary co-working space designed to support primary caregivers in achieving the balance they deserve. Emily's vision combines professional workspaces with Montessori-inspired childcare to create a supportive environment where both primary caregivers and children can thrive. We'll be unpacking the challenges and working parents face, from skyrocketing childcare costs to mental health pressures, and exploring how spaces like Em are changing the game. Plus, Emily will be sharing practical tips for managing stress, building resilience, and finding joy in the everyday chaos of parenting. This conversation is full of insights, inspiration, and actionable advice you won't want to miss. So, whether you're a working parent, a mental health advocate, or just somebody curious about the future of family friendly workspaces, you're in the right place. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue to do the work we're doing, making an impact on the world. Grab a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's get started. So, Emily, could you tell us a bit about your background and what led you to the creation of Em and Drew?
Yes, absolutely. So, what bring me to that? If I'm going to start from when I was very little, but I won't go through that. I'm just going to say it come from a lot of anger at first, but it actually moved. So when I came in the UK, I started in hospitality, and I've kind of went from floor tender going up to management positions. Did that for a bit less than a decade, and I absolutely loved it in a night environment. It was absolutely great. I love that time of my life. And I wasn't sure if I wanted children, but find the right partner. Being very happy, and we actually did the step, and we were really happy for each other. But the way it was received into our profession, it was not what we expected.
Mm.
Because it was very cocooning environment. Everyone know each other. You kind of go out all the time with the same people and having that energy and that crowd and that circle. And it kind of really changed the balance because the day we say we were pregnant, I were excluded from that circle. So from one day to the next, I was uninvited. And I found that weird. Then at work, people start to be very, very mean. The environment became very toxic, very toxic. So I decided for my baby and for me, it was better that I leave. And from that, it was about 6 months of just pure isolation. COVID kicked in, so it was even more isolating. I ended up doing a depression. My partner was wonderful because he was really there supporting me and see how he can what can he do to actually make me go out of that mental hard mental phase I was in. And coming out of it after the Leo one was born, everything was gone. I was so happy as being a mom, but that social aspect was
Mm.
really weird still, very isolating. So I start looking around me and realize that is actually normal. When I say it's normal, is I haven't met a mom who have not tell me that she passed through the same thing of isolation from friendship, of going into a toxic environment at work, having to tiptoe about everything. And it just made me angry, very, very angry, because I'm a black mixed race woman. And I didn't have much win-win, even if I play by the book. But
Mm.
this one, for the pregnancy one and having my Leo one, it's not her fault. She hasn't done anything in the world yet. She even didn't ask to be here. And the word was already so aggressive with her. And so just not accepting. So I didn't want that for her. And I wanted to do something to make a change. And by while I was talking, do a lot of research, I said like, okay, there is a problem in the workforce. the mentality needs to change. Um, Parents won't stop to be parents. That you can't change the way things happened. So, but the way we tiptoe around it, we need something new. And that's where Manju actually came from. So,
Mm.
yeah,
It's so frustrating, as soon as you're like pregnant, nothing changes except, you're having a baby, that your life would change, your work doesn't change, you know, and stuff like that. Your attitude to work won't change. You might need a bit more adjustments, but you're still going to perform the same way. And to
absolutely.
just be like, before anything even happens, to be like, you're incompetent, you're this, you're that, and create an environment that's so toxic, it's not fair. And you know what? It's so common and so normal that it's like, and I feel like a lot of women, especially ethnic women, are scared or skeptical about having children because they're like, how is this going to affect my career? Because we have to work 10 times as hard to get where we need to be.
Yeah,
And then to have a child and it ruin our life is like, it's not ruining my life. It's this addition to my life. I'm really, really happy about it. But you're not, you don't feel the same way. I don't need you to be over the top over it, but I'm still the person I am.
absolutely. So we often like lose identity. Something I found really, really hard. At the moment I said I was pregnant, I lost my name.
Yeah.
People stopped calling me Emily or Em. I was mom.
Mm,
Like you just mom. You're not nobody else. You just a status.
yeah.
You just mom. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I have a name.
Mm,
Why not everyone, only one person can call me like that? And everyone calls you mom. And it was like, no, I'm still me. I loved my life before. I love my life with my baby. I'm still me. I'm still doing things for me. I'm a mom, but that's not, it's a part of me. It's just not
mm,
me. I did not born the day I became a mom,
yeah.
have years before. And for that isolation, actually, where you were mentioning, it's about 80% of women who feel isolating and during pregnancy,
Mm,
and three-quarters of them feel like they had no friends, zero
yeah.
friend with who they can actually like talk. So
Yeah.
it is somewhere. There is something, there is a problem just there. The support is not there. You have to work until the last minute. So you don't have the time to prepare yourself with what's going to come your next life. It's a huge adjustment, you changing from everywhere. Then you
Mm,
have to adapt to a new person. You have to go around and relearn yourself in the couple as well, because all of the dynamic change is such a huge change. It's actually called matrescence. Um, and the chemical chain that you have inside you are as strong as when you pass to adolescence,
mm,
but you don't have that support. And then you have to go back at work straight away, but you don't even know yourself yet.
yeah.
You have to readapt everything, but there's not the support. And I find that absolutely fascinating that after, it's not like people start to have baby a decade ago.
Mm.
It always happened.
It's not like a craze, is it? Like, oh,
Yeah,
if you,
it's not something new.
yeah. I think it's just like, I know this is two very different things, but when you buy a house, it comes with so much responsibility. You have to take care of everything. You have to like replace anything that's broken. You need to pay the mortgage. You need to make sure other bills are paid.
Yeah,
And it's not like you can go to your landlord and be like, I need this fixed. It's
yeah,
your responsibility now. But people don't make a massive deal over that. Or you're moving with your partner. People don't make that's massive changes in your life.
yeah,
You- Big, but not as big as having a baby, but it's big, still big, but nobody reacts the same way.
yeah. No,
And
no, no, no.
it's crazy. And I'm like, you know, it's just barrier after barrier after barrier.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, please.
I know, sorry. I just make sounds sometimes.
Me too. Good. Like the moment of, I think, we really like clicked for me, it's when in my head, I had the baby at the right time. So
Mm,
I always play by the book. And I had the baby past 30. So I already built something. I already had the experience. I went to uni. I had the work experience. I went to management positions. I was like secure financially. We were strong. Emotionally, we were absolutely stable. And so we were good in all of the plates you should juggle. And we felt
Mm.
so low that I was like, how do other people who not as stable as us or in the same situation can make it?
Yes,
When they
such a
say you have
stigma as well.
everything, when they
Mm.
say you have everything, and even that's not enough.
Yeah,
So how do you actually build a stable home?
absolutely.
Because the hard part as well was the return to work.
Mm.
Um, because like the last job was toxic, so I left. And after the little one, I went back to work. She was about like 7, 8 months.
Oh,
Um, Nursery hours were not very compliant.
yeah.
I found a job again in management positions, but everything, I was a daytime manager and they had a nighttime manager. Everything was going wrong in the nighttime. They were blaming him on me because I was a mom. And they were literally saying, yeah, but you're a mom. I was like, what do I have to do in the deal? What do I have to do in the deal? You were not in that during the nighttime. Great. What that has to do with me being a mom?
Mm.
Complex topic, like different. There's nothing who links those two subjects right now. But everything was that. And when I decided to leave that job, they were like, "Yeah, we know you would not stay because you're a mom." And I was like, "No, it's not why I leave. I leave because I part the time I know my barrier, I know my limits, and I know when it's not worth it. And that right now is not worth it."
Mm.
But
But you know what? The audacity just to say that to your face shows a level of toxicity in that environment.
yeah,
It's like, it's like they're not even trying to hide it. I think it's like it's like people usually, I feel like, are subtle with certain like taboo areas or whatever. When it comes to being a mother, it's like,
you
well,
know, it's
you're bound to leave it, your
yeah,
mother, the
it,
child
it's
comes first.
yeah. When actually, with what I leave is more complicated. I won't get into it, but in that short time I was in that company, they had a good heart. They don't even realize what they were doing or what they were saying. In about 4 months, my daughter, who was still a baby, was insulted 3 times. They even didn't notice what they were saying because it's so common that parental responsibility discrimination is so common that people can say things and it just pass smooth.
Mm. And
And you're
it's
like,
the as well, isn't it?
yeah. And you're like, no, no. There's there's no need to hide, literally. And you can see it's like the way I felt it, maybe not everyone feel that way. And I hope not. Really, I hope not. But for a very long time when I was going out with my little one, every time I stepped, like I said, foot outside my house with my prom, I feel like sentenced by everybody. Because it was like if you go to a shop or if you go to a public place, to a cafe or whatever, people will look at you like, oh, I hope the baby's not going to cry. Oh,
Yeah.
and you can see in the eyes of people, if my child dare sound be heard, they would be like, you can see on the face, or you can hear literally the people like breathing, or and you're like, that's been
Yeah,
10 minutes you're complaining. She just did the noise because she's a baby and that's how she communicates. She did not
absolutely.
ask you to shut up. Leave her
Yeah,
alone.
absolutely. You know what really frustrates me, and I say this, if somebody makes a massive deal or just any sort of deal over the fact that the baby's crying, I'm like, I'm autistic. Noises, I'm very sensitive to the noises. It really bothers me, but I don't feel the need to say anything. So why do you?
Yeah, it's I developed that technique to make people a little bit more at ease with me going out. Because I also take the plane. I traveled with my little one. It
Mm.
was just like, she would not be the reason for me to just stop stop my life. For me, I think I can go out with her. So we go out. We went to LA, we went to Croatia, we went to France, we traveled. And often when I take a big public transport, before getting into it, when there's a lot of people, I verbalize it. I say, okay, ma chérie, I know you know what, baby, we're going to go in a bus or we're going to go in a plane. It's not really a nice atmosphere for you. There will not be a lot of toys and it's not an environment for a child, but we have to pass through that to go where we need to be. And it's going to be okay. And if you're not feeling all right, you can tell me, you can cry. It's going to be okay because you're allowed to be here as much as anyone else.
Mm.
Like you have your right, my baby, to be in that plane like anybody else. You too, you want to see your aunt because you were not able to see her. She couldn't come because of the COVID time. She couldn't come because of that. And I just kind of like saying out loud, talking with the baby voice to my child. But really, it's for everybody else
Thanks.
to have a bit more, like a little bit more empathy of, well, I need to be somewhere too. And she's allowed to. My child's allowed to be here. She has all of her rights. And I really mentioned if you cry, it's okay. Because maybe you're going to have ear pain. Maybe you're going to be uncomfortable. Maybe you're going to be car sick. You don't know because you
Yeah.
can't express it. And I was saying that and out loud, which made people be a bit more breathing and you can have a little smile after sometime.
Yeah. I think it feels like such an unnecessary step, but it feels so necessary at the same time. It's like it's so frustrating and tragic that you have to do that. And it's like people, I feel like it's like, noise is always going to be a discomfort. There's people who like speak really loudly or they don't wear their headphones, but you never say anything about them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, social cues, we just ignore that person or whatever. But when it's a baby, it's like
Baby
an
doesn't
open.
have to be confused. They are babies.
Exactly.
And they often don't do as much noise. When they're toddler, yeah, they can do like a lot of noise because that's their way of coping. They're going to be in a bus and they're going to sing a song they like repeatedly, but they are children.
Mm.
They are learning. So if as an adult you can't handle a child singing when that child is going to pass in your lap for the next 5, 10 minutes, you need to question yourself and your patience. that's how that's what I think. But with MNG, we wanted to create a space when actually parents can come and don't have that pressure to think my child needs to be silent and behaving. Because
Mm.
there's very little children who actually can coloring at the table in a restaurant for an hour.
Yeah.
The attention span is not an hour. It's about 3 minutes.
If that.
And then they need another activity.
Mm.
And that's stressful for the parent. That's why you see the parent's going to take the tablet or the phone because it is an easy solution. And as the parents, you need to have a headspace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the tablet can be a solution, but actually having a space when it's okay for the child to be noisy or have activity for the child to be themselves and just being welcome. So it's the parent as welcome and being in an adult atmosphere and also the child being welcome and
Yeah.
having that space when they can be themselves. So that's what we wanted to create.
You're amazing. If you could pick a few words, let's just say 3 words to describe Em and Drew's mission,
Ooh,
what words would you pick? And why is it so important like today?
only 3 words. I probably would choose definitely the word option. Um, like yeah, option or choice, and empowerment,
Mm.
and parent. Yeah, because we want to give a choice. We want parents to be able to choose their life after
Mhm.
the year one. We don't want things to be forced on them. We want them to have an option when they can choose and say, if I want to go part-time, great. If I want to go full-time, great. If I want to stay at home, great. But I'm able to choose which route I want. Like right now in the UK, 45 of stay-at-home moms are now by choice, which means that nearly half of the stay-at-home moms that would be judged because they're stay-at-home moms would like to go back to the workforce. So they didn't choose to actually being stay-at-home moms. And that's because childcare costs 65% of an average wages. That's a lot. Childcare is more than a mortgage. So if you have like an average salary, you will lose money by putting your child into childcare and going to work, because the time that you do the commute, buy the food and all of that, you will lose money. So often what will happen is, in the couple, you try to save and keep the higher salary often being the main one. Gender gap, that's a fun part. So the mom actually have to stop working. And when you start your life with two salary, and we're planning on having two salary, and you jump in one, that's put a lot of pressure also on the dad, because now he becomes a sole earner. So if things doesn't go well at work, it's a huge pressure, because now he doesn't have the flexibility as before. And it's also really hard on the mom, because you stuck home with a little one with no surrounding, like nobody to talk to. And if you were someone active or it was not your first choice, it can be really hard in mental health. So that creates a lot of parental burnout, then falling in the economy, then strain on the family. And it's just like a snake that bites. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's the problem. So work is an entity that is about the economy, is about the worker, the employee and the employer. Childcare is about the children. But a working parent, it's a worker and a parent. There's no middle. So or you do one or you do the other, but both of this entity like mismatch. They don't align in terms of hours. And you're like, how comes nobody revisit that or rethink it? We work differently now than before. And family model has changed. Like there's less model where actually the mom is just an at-home mom, and that the dad just provide. That have changed a lot, because often, and with the rising cost, you often need two salary to survive.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. So it's like you say, a vicious
With the cost of living crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why we want to offer parents a choice and empower them. And then you choose what option you choose. It's yours, but it was your choice as a parents. Yeah.
Specifically about, the work that you do, how does it like differ from a traditional co-working space with regard to like family support? That on your website, there's a sentence, this bolded like word. It's three sentences, one word with each sentence. Work, full stop. Life, full stop. Balance, full stop.
Yes.
So
yes.
tell me a bit more about it.
Yes. So we say like work-life balance, because that's where we want to implement in what we're doing. The way he differ, it's a co-working space, like any other co-working space. The parents will have their own space where you can go to a private office, or if you want to be more in the open space, that's absolutely fine. That is one zone. That's called the parents' corner. That's one zone, and it's a co-working space. But additionally, in another zone, in another area, so not in the same area, in another area, we have what we call the play zone, and that's where we have childcare. So it will be divided in three. So we'll have something it's a soft play. So eventually that's for parents and children to bond, so you can start your day or end your day at the soft play. And when your meeting starts, you can drop your child at the creche for membership and go to the office. And then we have something that a bit different, as we call catch your breath. Catch your breath is a semi-supervision between 30 minutes to an hour and a half. So it's if a client calls you at the last minute and you need to do something, but well, you have little one with you. You can come and do catch your breath, catch up on your email, finish the last file that you need to do, work, have a phone call or an interview or something that you need a short time of focus. So that's how we do. So we have the work aspect, then we have the childcare aspect, the children aspect, which is what we call life. And then we have a cafe. So the cafe would be for absolutely everyone. And that one is more for the social part of it. So that's what work-life balance. The additional things is we will do classes, workshop, networking, and group session actually for parents. So networking for parents, because it's very, very hard. I insist in that. Very, very hard for anyone with a little one to go to a networking event. And it's very important for your business.
Yeah.
But you can't go because networking event or during bedtime.
Yeah.
So as a parent, what you need to think of is a babysitter. Babysitter in late hours are difficult. That's if you don't have an older one with school time after. And then you need to think about the commute. And you need to trust someone really hard to let your child go late. Then you need to think about the commute. You need to think about all of that logistic, that what the children's gonna. You need to have your head still in the house and going out. That's plus the budget that's actually included. So you lose.
Yeah, I remember, in Sophia's event, so many people were like, so like they were invested in the panel, but at the same time they were like checking their phones, their watches, like I need to leave, else I'm gonna miss my child, like putting them to bed,
Yeah.
or it's the last train and I won't be seeing my child tonight.
Yeah.
And if it was a single person or somebody without a child, they're probably like, oh, I'll get a hotel, or I'll find somewhere to stay.
Yeah.
But it's just that rush to just get out the door.
Exactly.
So
It's a
I
to get
think
out.
a lot of people just left after the panel. They didn't even stay afterwards to network. It was
Yeah.
just a quick, like, here, done. What's my next thing to do? It was such a
Because
rush for them.
you need to think you need to come back home to relieve babysitter, or you need to come back home and not miss your train because you don't have that flexibility to be able to say like, oh, it's okay, or to come back the next morning. You need to be there in that before the morning. You need to be there in the evening back. So it's exhausting. It's exhausting. But then you need to pretend when you're in this event that you don't have children because you need to be fully focused. When in the same time you know that, oh, I received a text, you need to be available all the time. So it's quite it's exhausting because you need to focus in so many things at the same time that you can't always focus fully. Like as I work from home mainly, and my little one, she just at reception, which are the worst hour ever. Before she did nursery, but then she was only 2 days at nursery, so she was 5 days with me. But I still need to keep working. So you work with a little one, and they ask attention because that's what they do. They attach to you. They're your little one. So at every of my meeting, she's in. Even if I try to organize everything, plenty of activity. Like around me is literally like a playground. And but now what she wants, it's my attention. It's me looking at her. Then for every basic thing, she will gonna ask me. So I had a colleague and where we were talking about that so often, and it was like, I think the children wait for the parents to be in the meeting to ask to go to the bathroom. And then you hear very loud, very, very loud, Mommy, I did a poo. Can you wipe me? And you're like, in a meeting, and you're like, excuse me, I'm coming. Because otherwise they're just going to show up in a camera and you're like, okay. And you need to stay focused in the camera, try to keep the conversation, and you actually hearing that, mommy, 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 or that,
Yeah.
mommy, mommy, and literally being constantly, and you're like, yes. So can you repeat for a second? And you pretend nothing's happening, but everything is happening.
Yeah.
You can't fully focus because they're there. But for a lot of parents, the children are in the room, and you just have to organize it with it. Um, there was a study who actually said that if it's a parent, so if it's a mom who work from home, they will often keep the little one at home to actually save money and save on childcare, and just put the little one on 1 or 2 days. But if it's a dad who work from home, the little one is in childcare most of the time. It's just not the dealing with that constant interruption is
Yeah.
is is real. But then it's harder to draw lines between work and home because you
Mm.
have to do the all in same thing. So eventually you just have the same plate to juggle. It's just people doesn't see them because you're on the camera. You just have to pretend everything is fine, and then it's just a mess. Like you only see this part of my house because that's a clean one. All of the rest, I have my Hoover just here on that side.
Mm.
I have all of my paper there. I have all of the Christmas decorations starting to be here. I have my board there. I have the mess of my child over there. It's uh it's interesting.
I was
You won't
expecting
see
to
that.
be like hectic, chaotic, interesting.
Oh yeah, no. You can well, I can see the organization of the house, but probably
Yeah.
be the only one who can.
Yeah.
And people doesn't see that. They don't see that. So when you in a different atmosphere than your home, you can have a different focus because you
Yeah.
don't have to think of all of that. Because right now I know that I'm there, but if for any reason I need to stand or I need to do something, I will have to climb over stuff sometime. And if she's there, it's just a constant interruption. And with her new hours with childcare, with nurse, with reception, how can a parent work full time, or how can two parents work full time when dropping a baby, well, dropping to reception is at 8:45
Mm.
and pickup is at 3:15.
Mm.
If you need to do a 9 to 5, but you have to pick up your child at 3:15, how can you do a full-time work? So you have to do extra curriculum, so breakfast club or after school club. In our school, there's no after school club, not because there's none, but because it's overly booked. So they don't have any space. How do you work that? Like your employer will not care that you don't have after school club. You just need to do your hours and needs to be at work. But you need to pick up your child because they won't keep it. So we have, and right now in the reception, in my Leo 1 school, they don't have space for any of the reception. There's 60 children in reception. That means there's 60 parents that doesn't have after school club. They have to pick up their children at 3:15.
It's that demand, isn't it? For, yeah.
So what do? You're forced to ask a part-time
Mm.
or you're forced to reorganize your rota. But if your partner work full-time and doesn't have a flexible schedule, how do you do? How do you make it work? And we make it work. That's the thing is we make it work, but how? Because the hour doesn't add up. And that's where we want to change. There is a problem. Or I'm bad at math, or there is an issue, but there's something wrong there.
Mm. It's such a it feels like once if you solve one problem, there's five other problems that arise, you know?
Yeah,
It's the constant battle. I feel like that's like the no, the
it is.
yeah, easiest way to put it is a constant battle. And the like this, what? I think, what unique challenges did you face, while creating a space that supports both work, productivity, and family needs?
Okay. So the challenges are that, how can I say? Um, it's a new option, but in the same time, it was already there. It's a new option, but not really. Like creches always been there, nursery always been there, but it's actually merging both of them. And at the moment, people are so into the mind that both of them needs to be distance, because for a very long time it was not really good for your progression and your work to actually say I'm a parent
Mm.
and and to actually as a parent being a worker because you are in a different mentality. So people, a lot of parents, they automatically, that is just how you cope with things. You have two personality, you have your worker personality and you have your parent's personality, and you're so much in survival mode all the time because all of your schedule are by the minute. If you leave at 30, or if you leave at 33 instead of 30, you know you're going to be late and you're going to have to run. So everything is by the minute. So you often doesn't have the time to actually look for a solution. You don't know them. You don't have the headspace. So it's actually creating something for a target that are on the edge of a burnout and that are very tired. And when you actually, it's always been that way, that
Mm.
you just do it because you've always been that way. They're just, what do you do? Like, you don't like it? Like, oh yeah, but we always done it that way. Oh, it's that change of, yeah, but things change, and that is a moment when things change. There's more and more people who are actually talking about this type of places and things, but it's still not talking enough. So being aware of what are your options. So that will be one of them. Not many competitors because what a lot of people want to say it's, oh, has it work? Or how does it how does it how does it function? And you're like, well, for this one it functions that way, for that one it functions that way. It's a simple model. It's just a workplace with a childcare.
Mm.
Big company does it.
Mm.
Google, PwC, um, BO, MBOC. They a lot of company does it. They just implement a childcare in their office. So it is something that it's possible and has been done. But this time it will be a place that is just for that. It's just a co-working, like so many other co-working, but we focus on parents.
Mm.
That's it. That's it. So it's more being heard of, create the community around it because the idea is very well received. But then we've been asked kind of like much proof that some other project we've been asked, and being in the topic that is not an attractive one. So we're not talking about AI. We're not talking about like complete like tech, robotic, and all of that. It's for the parents, and people are very sensitive and touchy about parenting, becoming a parent, so all of that, because they're scared. It's a
Mm.
topic that scared people.
Yeah,
It's a
you know,
topic that scares people. It makes you uncomfortable. If you're parents, it can literally triggers you. I've been to events, start promoting and talked about being aware about Em and Drew, and I had people start crying. It's like, oh my God, that's what I need. And you have kind of like years of being on survival mode and being like, that's what I need. Oh my God, I'm not the only one. And you just have the tears. So I have that to the extreme opposite. It's like, children, no, 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 no. And you actually like panic because you heard the word parents and child. It's like, um, I didn't ask you to be pregnant. It's okay. It's just we all have parents in our surrounding, but we don't know how they're coping. You just know if your parents, your lives end and you're going to be scared and you're not going to have friends and you can't do anything, your life's over.
mm,
When I don't think so, when I had my little one, I won't say my life started, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
There's such a I've noticed this because our organization focuses on social impact. As soon as social impact and they don't hear money, 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 then they're like it doesn't click for them. The need, the want for spaces like, Emma Drew and stuff like that, And I
Hmm.
feel like there's all often like such a battle to get people to recognize the needs of people.
Which it's absolutely like a paradox because if there's a need and a demand, it means it will make money.
Yeah. But they don't hear yeah.
So right now, there's 75% of working parents that face childcare difficulty. 75%. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot. It's a lot of parents. Then nursery and childcare in the UK actually are at 80 to 90% capacity.
Mm.
So if you call your nursery and say like, oh, can I change the day? Or um, next week I'm going to have a different rota, they can't change it because they don't have the space to change it.
Mm.
And often in a nursery, or at least every nursery I have applied for, talked to, and we did a lot of survey and research, market research. You need between 2 to 4 weeks notice before changing your rota. Who in a workforce has a rota 4 weeks in advance?
Mm. And even if
That
you do get in 4 weeks advance, there's going to be guarantee changes.
Yes, exactly. Already for 2 weeks, you get guardian changes. Like, I think in the law, they say you can change the rota about 3 to 2 days before.
Mm.
So, and they
This
constantly
is
change.
reasonable notice.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that is just if you can put your child in nursery. What if
Mm.
you work at social hours? How do you do that? I had to work at social hours and I had to pick up my little one at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning from childminders because if you do social hours, that's all you have, nanny or childminders. And because they pay by the hour,
Yeah.
you pay them by the hour, which means that if you finishing at 2 or 3 and that night time is counted because they still care for your little one because the little one is in their place. So that can be a lot. If you drop your child at, let's say, 1 p.m. and you finishing at 2 or 3 in the morning, but then you say, okay,
Whole day's wages gone.
I'm gonna pick up my little one only at 8, like in the morning at 7 or 8. Can you imagine the bill? If you're on 10 or £11 per hour, it's massive. So you pick up your child in the middle of the night because a lot of people doesn't have family around or the family doesn't especially want or can't. You never know. So yeah, it's always very I'm fascinating about every parent to actually make it work because it brings a lot of mental health struggle to always being on the edge of would I make it today?
Mm.
If the car broke, if someone is late, if the traffic it doesn't is not right, no matter what, if there's the slightest delay, the whole day's over.
Yeah.
The whole day's over. So and it's 66% of parents who actually reported mental health struggle by the UK. That's a survey from the UK government from last year.
And it still continues to do absolutely nothing.
It's it's big. That's a
Mm.
lot of people. It's you okay? Do you need some water?
No, it's not water. It was like I'm having like some chest pains.
Oh yeah,
I was like, maybe if I coughed, it would fit the chest pain. You know when you think of stupid things because it's just hurting?
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to and then it doesn't do anything. But yeah. Um,
If you need few more like minutes to get yourself. I know you've just been here. Oh,
okay. I'm working all day until like I think 7:30. So yeah,
yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna make it
that
work.
that's something I can barely do because like if I wake up at 6:30 to get myself ready, wake up the little one at 7:30, get her ready, breakfast, get dressed. Then we walk for school. We're lucky we close from the school.
Yeah.
Then I came back roughly around 9 at home. So then from 9 to 2:30, that's when I have my focus time to work. And then 30 minutes before picking her up, I kind of start to organize for her coming back. So something to eat and everything like that. Pick her up. We're back about 3:15, 3:30, I mean. And then from 3:30 until 7:30, 8 o'clock is just baby time, organizing time. And if I want to get back on work, it will be after 8:39.
Mm.
Then you actually stay from 8:39 until 9 to finish the day, until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to actually finish the hours that you couldn't
But it,
fix. Then you're waking back like in the early in the
yeah,
morning.
I feel like especially when you're running your own organization, crazy hours. Like I was like, I think this is different. I'm not a parent, but I'm like, I had to go out for the day from 3 o'clock till midnight, and I was like, now I have to work from midnight to 2 o'clock just to make it fit. And
Yeah,
even when you're outside, you're like checking emails and stuff like that, and you're like,
constantly, like checking for the last for the last
we talk
updates.
about
Yeah,
work-life balance, but I feel like it's us, those who speak about work-life balance who don't have work-life balance either.
yeah. Oh, it's just like it feels like it's like life is only work and life when actually there's so many things in between. You need to run errands, you need to do your shopping, that takes
Yeah,
time. The cooking, that takes time. And having to organize things, all of that takes time in your day, but is not counting.
yeah,
But it should be counting like on the rota, it needs to be like, okay, everyone's got an hour to clean the house, guys. Everyone needs to clean the house.
mm,
2 hours, 3 hours on the week needs to be to run errands because everyone needs to run errands. And
absolutely.
yeah, or to do the paperwork for the house or everything else. We need to do that. It's not just the work and the parenting. There's so many things that fits in between that are not counting for. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so much that people don't talk about.
Or
Um,
we need to change the times. We need to change times and hours. A day needs more than 24 hours. We need to change that.
I think there was somebody who said if I think it was converted to pounds, and somebody said if a stay-at-home mother was paid, it would be in 200 something thousand
Yeah,
pounds.
not not surprised.
It's
Not
it,
surprised.
yeah, it's like let's just say even like looking after a child is 12 hours, but then it does mean that you're not going to be waking up at the night in the night time.
Oh,
Um,
my little one still she's doing her nights, but eventually I still wake up like I sleep by period of 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, and then I've kind of like wake up, make sure everything is fine, and like fall asleep.
mm, yeah, it's stuff that people don't like think about. What are some of the specific challenges that you see affecting the mental health of working parents today?
Ooh, you don't have time for you don't have any headspace. Literally, it's headspace because you're already doing so many plates. You have the social side, the parenting side, but the school side, the work side, but you have also the couple side, and then you have another plate which is for family. When I say family, it's like parents, brothers, sisters. You have another plate which is about the house. You have another plate which is just thinking of messaging a friend. You receive a message and you're like, I'm going to respond to that. You switch because you don't have the time and the headspace. Timing. It's something that I think every parent's had a lot of difficulty with. It's just the time is not there. That is a big problem. The time is not there. And you have to think about so many, because we say you have to be successful at both of them, at all of them. You need to be someone very social, give the news, otherwise you're bad friends. You need to give news of your family all the time, because otherwise you are like you're not grateful. You need to be a loving and caring partner all the time with your partner, both ways. I insist that's both ways, not just for the both. It's both ways. Then you need to be amazing at communicating. How do you feel, and all of that. So you also a therapist, and being able to have that extreme and great communication. You need to manage your self, emotion, and all, while being a woman, with everything that includes. That if you don't have an additional condition, which many people have, and then being there for your child, and being patient and not losing it, because during that extremely tired, and perform with the work, and then be friendly at the school and still follow what they're doing. Oh, you have the homework. You need to be fully aware of the homework, which is your end of day. And you have to do the homework with the little one that is tired, doesn't want to do anything. So you manage the anger of your little one while doing that, thinking, I still need to do the food. Is the school club ready, like for this weekend? Is actually the clothes, the laundry finished? Did I actually wash this little thing that she actually needs? Oh, did I pick up the prescription from that? Oh, I need to remember that I also have to cancel that meeting, or I have to do that. And you're always in your head having a list of things, and in other hands, and you need to perform all of them. Otherwise, you're a miserable human being. And it's not possible. It's not possible. Or you end up being very overstimulated, very overwhelmed, and having burnout, breakdown, and mental health. So there's a lot of challenging for parents. The expectations is not realistic. I'm being very clear here, in my household with my partner, that I will not do everything. The house is a mess. I'm aware the house is a mess. I will do the house when I can, but he also do the house. And he won't come to me and say, like, Emily, you've been home all the day. Was the house not tidy? Because I would be like, well, I've been working. You've been working. If you didn't have the time, why would I have the time? Or if you didn't have the headspace, why would I have the headspace? We have the same responsibility here. And I'm able to have that conversation already with my partner before having the little one. When I still have some of my friends who tell me like, oh, I need to iron his socks. And I'm like, I haven't touched an iron in years. I touch the iron occasionally if I really had to go somewhere. But other than that, no, buy anything that doesn't need to be ironed anymore. That's no. Make sure having routine, make sure the laundry is always on, and do not forget it. Do not forget the laundry. Make sure that the little one and everything's prepped when she's coming, because they need routine, and you need to have their time for them, which is heavy, because we don't learn when we don't have children or when we grow up. You need to make space for someone else's emotion. That's something you learn on the go. That's also something that is not accounting for. When you're parents, there's no book. Nobody tells you what you should do, so you just learn. And see how much trauma your child is going to have when they grow up.
Oh,
But at least I would tell her, I tried.
yeah.
And you just tried your best. So it's a lot
Yeah.
of challenges. But it's pro and con. Like
Mm.
the other night, I had my little one wanted to sleep with me. So she slept in my bed. And I said to my partner, he can sleep in the other room. So we not both do not have a full sleep. Because she turns and she doesn't like blankets. Then I had the cat who decided to sleep on the bed as well. So in my big bed, I have a very small space with no blankets. We knew Kate's cold. And I was like, oh, I don't have a good night. But every time I was turning to kind of like do the, I want to sleep. I look at that tiny face and she was just perfect. And I was like, I made that. That's so cute. And like, okay, I don't sleep tonight. It's fine. Because you're so cute. You're so cute. And you give it to me back so good. So it was like yes, I have all of the effort to do all of that, but at the same time it's worth it. It's worth it.
It
So
must be. When you see their faces, it solidifies.
you need to have something in return. You can't
Mm.
sacrifice or give that much for nothing in return.
Mm.
You've got the smiles, you've got the hugs, you've got the I love you. And when they look at you, you're their world. You're the universe. You're literally the universe. You nobody else. It's better than you in their eyes and you're the light. So it's gives you like a God complex after. Because you're like,
Like,
stop me, baby.
you know who I am? Like, we talk, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
your
I,
mom.
yeah.
Your mom.
Oh,
So,
it,
and I know we're talking a lot about the bad, but there's so much good. Also, the way you feel. If
mm,
is that what you wanted?
yeah.
There's so much good. But being a parent doesn't mean you have to give up your whole life. I loved who I was before.
Mm,
I absolutely love my time before my baby. I have no regrets and I love that time. And I know that time will not work with what I have now. But I love my life now. I absolutely adore it. But what I want to do, and that's why we're creating Em and Drew, it's for when it was a period of struggle, which still is,
yeah.
um, being able for the future to offer all the people, all the parents in becoming parents,
Mm,
an option and options. Because I don't think the struggle that we pass through and so many people pass through is necessary.
yeah. We should have discussed this before, but for our listeners who don't know who Drew is, who is he?
Nay, exactly. But yeah, there's too many taboo. Hey, people need to talk more. They need to talk more. They need to talk more. That's something I try to explain my little one. It's great is good to say like I'm fine, but it's also good to say I'm not fine or I'm not okay, or to say I'm sad or to say I'm upset. And you just accept this feeling and this emotion because I think they are essential to know when you're happy.
Mhm.
And right now, I don't think we have a good balance on things. One, if you are a worker, that's great. You have a lot of esteem from society if you're a worker. And as soon as you became a parent,
Yeah.
not so much. Your parents really, you kind of like lose or lost worth. And you're like, well, I'm exactly the same person as before, but you're not seeing the same anymore. And
Yeah.
that is that is difficult. So for a woman, you can have a loss of 3 times your pay cut if you change job for the same job, but because you become a mom. And depending on uh, your role before. So, example, for me, I was a manager, and after my little one, when we moved, I tried to go back to that job, and I have a lot of interview, and everyone was like, "Oh, great, your experience amazing, the company you work with amazing," and then you have, "Oh, you have a gap here. What it is?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah, I had a little one," because you don't start your interview saying like, "Hey guys, I'm a mom." You just go
Mm.
because that's the different side of me. That's not. And they're like, oh, great, congratulations, wonderful. And the last question, so they always say the goodbye. And the last questions is, how are you going to do for childcare?
Mm.
I have that question about 100 times. And you're like, that's actually not legal to ask how I'm going to do for childcare because the way how I organize my childcare, yes, it is your issue, but also not none of your business.
Yeah.
And it is asked to discriminate candidates.
Mm.
So that is the issue. So I don't think the problem is being a parent. I think the problem is how society view parenting. It's
Yeah.
just not made for them. Well,
Absolutely.
it's not made for women, it's not made for parents, not made for children.
Mm. Absolutely.
But
Agree.
then,
How do you see the emotional impact of parenthood on career choices for mothers versus fathers?
oh, ooh. So before going down to the root for the father, I think I really want to point that
Mm.
there is a lot of them now who wants to change that. And I
Yeah.
won't call them a lie. A lie, I'm just gonna call them parents, which is why I often say parents and not just mom.
Mm.
Um, because a lot want to be involved
Yeah.
and can't because society doesn't give them the choice. They're kind of that parenting issue or that parenting party. They're still at the door waiting for the bouncer to let them in.
Yeah.
they they're just not giving the choice, the space, all the time. They're just like, nah, that's not for you. Even if they try, like, I want to be in. Um, but then you have also some who doesn't want to,
Yeah.
which is the hard truth. Some who doesn't know how to.
Mhm.
I don't think it's easy to be a man in no day in our society, to be honest. Um, but there is some questions and some way people doesn't react the same. So if it's at first when we used to bring Malio one to nursery, if if Andrew had a question at the nursery, they will not really answer him. And then
Mm.
when I come the next day, they will tell him, oh, your partner asked us a question. And I'm like, yeah, well, he's a grown up, so he does ask questions. He thinks by himself. So yeah, cool. It's like, oh yeah, so the answer to his question is that why did you not tell him? If you had the answer, why did you not tell him the answer? I don't know the question. So they even didn't want to talk to him, or if it was an issue with the Leo one, so maybe she went herself, like she fall or whatever, they have to write Leo a report, and they will only send it to me or ask, oh, Lana came back with a bruise. She's a toddler, they fall. They learn how to walk, so they fall. So they will have Leo bruises or Leo scratch. And they will be only asking the answer to the questions to me,
Mm.
never to never to him. And you're like, he's the one who dropped her. Why did you not ask him? Why is it? You can talk to my partner, you can talk to dad. Dad is as aware as mom. He's a parent, so he knows. So that was one of them, not being included at all in that conversation. Still happening a little bit now, but a bit less. But it's a story I really, really hear often. At work, 44% of dads who request time off, they're right for time off for that little one. So it can be baby sick today. So I can't go to work because I need to look after baby because she can't go to nursery. 44% of them will experience discrimination and mockery in the workforce.
Mm.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot just because they say, well, I'm going to look after my child.
Mm.
They will ask, it will be the question like, oh, well, why was mom not doing it? And we have that in Andrew's work at some point when he was like, why is not mom doing it? Because when I went back to work, he was the one dropping the little one at childcare, and I was the one picking up. But from his work, that was almost That was weird. So it was like, why is mom not doing that? Because mom is working. Because or just because I'm her dad. Simple as that.
Mm.
No more question needs to be asked. So there is that difference. There is another difference is in work. So I talked about my interview. Never my partner have been asked, absolutely never, ever have been asked, what about his childcare?
Mm.
What about his time off? Because I had my little one during COVID. So eventually I could say it's a furlough, my break. I could say that's furlough because it falls between literally like the COVID time when everyone was in furlough. My partner has the same. So I could say that's what it is. But I don't want to. But his time off, which was when everyone was completely locked down, nobody even asked him like, oh, what's that time off? What that little gap in your CV? It never been asked that. And it probably will never been asked that. So that's
Mm.
when you see the difference of mentality.
Yeah.
Um, or when we go out, me going out with my child, if she do a scene or if she cries, it will be like the people already upset. Oh, I'm a bad mom because my child cries or because like whatever. But if he goes with her and she falls or something happened or she cries or she screams or she doesn't behave, that's acceptable because she's with
Yeah.
dad.
And you know what I find absolutely hilarious is how, older women or women, I've noticed this mainly women, men don't really react like this, I've noticed, but they will act like the father is like a child looking after a child. They will all be around him, like, oh, let me do this, let me do that. Like, I've been out and about, and there's people, random strangers, who's offered fathers, like, I can change your baby's nappy. Like,
Do we know
I
each
don't, a
other?
stranger, like, yeah, I'm just like,
I know, yeah. And we've been, oh, so about 2 years ago, we went to a wedding, and in that wedding, we had about 4 or 5 little one, different people. I don't know all of them, and dads were actually. Don't ask me how, but we kind of all have the same routine. So it was an hour, mom was actually looking after the baby, and the next hour it was dad looking after the baby.
mm,
So everyone had kind of like a shift, and we all between parents, we didn't, talk to each other, but we kind of all noticed that we were doing that. One looking after, and then it's the other. And because it was really a 50-50, because we all wanted to enjoy the wedding, and we all had little ones, I remember her grandma coming to me and say like, your husband, he's doing a lot. That's the second time he's looking after your little one while you're talking. And I'm like, yeah, he's her dad. I'm at my cousin's wedding. So we want to enjoy each other. Like we all want to have a good time. We can't have it at the same time because Leo one has a different schedule. She wants to play. She can't play alone. We need to look after her. So that's what we do. We just one starting and the other one. And they was like, no, honey, you need to go grab him a beer and go and get him and stay with your baby. And I was
what do
like,
you think I've been doing for the other two times I was with the baby? Like,
and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I still have 15 minutes. I can
mm,
give him beer, but technically, because we're both looking after the little one, we can't drink that much until she's asleep.
mm.
So yeah, but she did not agree. But she said that to me, but I think she said that to all of the parents that actually all of the mom that actually were there. She was not on that. She was not having it. And
Mm.
then I have my own grandma who came the next day and said, like, Emily, I noticed something different. It's all of the dads looked after their little one equally with the mom. And she was really proud of it. She was like, I can see that mentality are changing. And she was really, really happy about that. But yeah, it
It's
happens.
that lack of flexibility, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember my mom, bless her soul, I love her, telling me at some point, like, Emily, do you bake for Andrew? And I'm like, he's probably baking more for me than I do for him. And it's like, "Ah, what are you going to do today? He's going to go home and you're going to bake him something." It's like, nah. Today I have many things happening. This one is not one of them.
Mm.
Because she used to bake every day for my dad.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I found that great, you know. I found that wonderful. But I don't have that headspace and I don't want to put myself on adding myself something else that I can't commit or I will not enjoy doing it because I have to think of thousand things
Yeah.
behind it. Well, I did bake this morning.
What did you
Yeah.
make?
Something simple, something very simple. I did like a twisting thing with garnish. Maybe it's not nice. Maybe it is. Who knows?
Uh, I can tell you don't bake often, but the twisting thing. You said that, I was like trying to, but
Yeah,
yeah, and
I did.
I feel
It's a
like,
recipe I saw, and I was like, well, yeah, let's try it. I have the ingredients. Let's try
yeah.
it. So I'm going to see it after.
Also, I feel like a lot of mothers, some, fathers can feel like this too. They don't want to set the precedent that they will be doing this regularly, and you're going to expect this every single time. Because
Yes,
you pressure me to, let's just say it's baking. Like one day I'm not up to baking, gonna be like, why have you not baked? You always bake up this time. When I come home, if this is there, and
I
I just
yeah. That actually the exceptions became the rules, and you're like, no. It's probably because um I saw my parents, and my mom was the one who was she was also working. She was working part-time, and my dad was working absolutely full-time. But my mom was the one who always cook and bake. My dad was doing it on a weekend when he was off, and we were all sitting at the table if my dad was cooking. But all of the other day and every single day, my mom was the one doing the cooking, baking, looking after us, and doing everything, like the all mental um, charge of all. And I remember her saying that she actually doesn't like cooking,
mm,
but she was doing it every day because it was necessary. So cooking became a necessary thing.
mm,
And she was cooking us at different time because not everyone wanted to eat the same thing. And then my dad was working nights, so he needed to eat in a certain time. Then she needed to, we were coming from different school at different timings. So you need to have like, you don't eat at the same time because you're not back home at the same time. You have all the things to do. So I was like, I don't want that.
mm,
I can see, I could see that is not something that I want to reproduce. Often is my partner when he comes home who actually going to cook, and I will cook for the little one, or I will organize something like in advance. But we equally, or he's doing more on that side, I'm
mm.
fine with it. Um, but I'm doing the laundry.
Yeah.
I'm doing the laundry. So we just pick all the things because it's like the ironing. I do the laundry, but not the ironing. I just yeah, I don't like ironing. But it's time that you have to take, and this it's necessary. You have to take them, but often is not an equal repartition in a lot of couples, and that's not fair because one's going to be more tired than the other. And it's hard conversation actually that couple needs to have before to know how do you want to handle the house after the little one because it will change. Everything will change. Laundry, way more often. Hoovering, way more often. Having to wipe things over and over, yes, way more often. Because you can't. You
Why it's
can't,
fact keep going.
yeah. It's like as soon as you tidy your room, that is the room that the kids want to play in, or that everyone wants to be in.
Ooh, nice, Heidi. Ooh, yeah,
Yeah, and then the kitchen, you tidy the kitchen to reusing straight away after.
yeah,
So it's just all the time ongoing work. It's like the children, the house, it's a constant maintaining. That the children are constant maintaining, and you can't. None of them can be stopped, except if nobody lives in the house. But yeah, that's
kick them out for a few weeks.
but you know, it's I remember going to an event this year, and it was about entrepreneur and burnout, and you have that woman who had that great question. It was like, well, how do I do all of that and keep myself sane and
Communicate that answered that question, didn't she?
yeah? Hmm?
Was it the Sophia's event?
No, I went to another one in Birmingham,
Oh, the
and
questions recycle, you know. It's such a like burning question.
yes, it's a question everybody has. And they were asking actually like, well, how do I do if I also have to think when I come home? And it's actually all the little tasks that you have to do, but are not completely written. Like thinking that every Thursday it's PE day, so the child completely needs to change. Make sure that the child uniform is always clean because you don't know from one day to the other if you're going to have a big stain. A big stain of it. If you plan of having, okay, she's going to wear her dress twice a day, 2 days in a row, and you actually end up with that, but the rest wasn't ready, or that you didn't notice, but maybe something's being eaten more than the other and you need it. And it's all obviously a task that's all adding in,
Yeah,
that are not counting, and that actually are very little things, but a little things, plus a little things, plus a little things. It kind of tip the balance.
yeah,
So you can have the best routine ever. As soon as something is not planned, it's very easy to have it fall, and and the world crumbles because you're on survival mode. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. You know, I feel like it's so like I feel like on Sundays, my mother, the washing's probably done by Sunday, but then on Sunday, she's ironing the school clothes every single Sunday after church, after lunch, and I was like, and I feel like as children, you don't care about that. You're like, I need you to give me attention. I need you to give me time. I need you to play with me or whatever it is. And that's the only thing that's important for the children.
Oh, you just pointing it so well. Yes, it's every task needs to be done. And if you're they're calling the main carer, but I don't always like that term. It's not that I don't like that term, because for some family it works, but it doesn't really work in my household. We don't have a main carer. We are both main carer. Um, but at the moment, I'm the one who's more at home, who's going to do more of the pickups because of the how things work in my household. But what she wants, it's my time. It's me playing with her. What she wants is it's going to come back from school and she wants to show me what she did. She wants to play with me. She wants quality time. She wants time with me. She wants to play pretend. Um, but in my head, I still need to work. I need to feed you. I need to make sure that everything that I already like, all of the tasks be done because it needs to be done. And I know Dad won't be able to do it right now because he's still at work.
Yeah.
And if I have to wait for him, it's not going to be done until that time because at the time he's coming in. So he will do his due and he will do his share. But right now, it's the thing is in the couple is we all talk about 50-50, but 50-50 is not always possible. There's a moment when one's going to do 60, the other one 40. One's going to do 17 one side and the other one 30, because in another sector, one's going to do 45 and the other one, and so on. Before that little one, she doesn't see that. So what she wants is to play with me. but I can't. I don't have that time because all the thing needs to be done. And I know that, and it makes me feel extremely guilty. And guilt is something that a lot of parents experience because that's what you know your child just wants you. That's all she wants, to play with you, but you can't. So when that's come, he take on that charge because I'm by that time exhausted, tired. So we'll be like, okay, let's go play, let's go out, let's do something. Did you do that? And because it's a side that I don't really have naturally, like playing on the pretend play is not something that is really in my personality. So I will do a lot of activity with her, the more structure, or I will do like painting and writing and creating things. But the play pretend, let's go in your imaginations, that's not for me. That's more for her dad. So I completely let him having that side, and I'm like, go for it. Go for it, because I know she will not develop that from me. But yeah.
Knowing each other's strong suits, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's something you have to learn because you don't know until you're in that situation what will be the strong suit of the other parent.
yeah.
And as a mother, you think you know best. It's like, I hold her 9 months. I know best. She's mine. No, she's not gonna. I'm gonna protect her. And that was work for me on me, which was hard, is actually my way to do. Yes, it's the best because I'm her mom,
Yeah.
but there's also other way to do. So I really try to work on myself and actually let a dad having his side and his way to do things, even if I would do them differently,
Mm.
because that's how she learns different way to do things. And there's a lot of things that she do and she will not doing with me. Like she's doing climbing. She's 4. She's doing climbing and she's quite good at it. But having that confidence, she won't get it from me. I'm scared of height. And I will be so scared for her every time she's doing something. It's like, oh my God, she's gonna fall. Oh my God. I'm like, no, you can do the things. Mommy's not watching. You're doing that with dad. So
Mm.
having that,
I'll go get latte.
yeah, like confidence over her body, confidence about over what she does, and actually she won't put herself in danger.
Mm.
She won't put herself in a situation when she can't come back. She will climb somewhere. She will always be able to come down. And if she's had doubt, she will not take the step. So she is able to trust herself. When it will be with me, and it will be constantly with me, I will be overprotecting her, and I know that because I will be scared. Because you're
Yeah.
seeing her running, and it's like, oh, she can trip over her own feet. And if she trips, it's going to be that, and she's going to have a scratch, and all of that. And I'm like, actually, it's okay to have a scratch.
Yeah. It is. I think I think it, it's you can tell with like first time parents and then later like the first child they're like screaming and shit. The second child they're like don't even pay attention or they're going to see that you're giving attention and they're going to cry. Third one's like okay get up. Yeah, it's like different
No,
stages, different strong
yeah,
children.
because you,
Um,
you already went through it. So I bet having the second one, you kind of like tried it already.
yeah,
Not
yeah, we
first
all
time.
go.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember this time. My partner and I, we decided to pick up Daddy want to be early. We went to a park. We wanted to have a nice time with her. It was for our anniversary, and Andrew, so my partner wanted to show me something she did. She's like, look, she can do that now. And it was walking around over a bridge that's a little bit wobbly. And I was like, okay, Millie, breathe. Don't show that you're scared for her. Trust her. Dad asked me to trust her. Just trust her. And I look at him. And as I was trying for once, I tried to actually, okay, I'm going to do a video of her doing that. I
Yeah.
have a picture of her doing it, smashing her face beautifully, that she break her tooth, open her lips. And
Yeah.
when she was at less than arm length. And it's actually because when she's with her dad, she's more comfortable and confident and trusts herself. But when she's with me, she knows that I will catch her.
Yeah.
So she will do the steps that are almost a bit dangerous because she know I will be there to catch her. I didn't catch her that day, but
Yeah.
I didn't catch her that day. But so she had different personality. When she's with her dad, she can do so much more things on her own.
Different attachment styles, isn't it?
Yeah,
With different parents.
because her dad trusts her more on what she's doing. But when she's with me, she's just, mom's got me. Mom's got me. No matter what, mom's got me. And I think I do like that balance in between Andrew and I. I do like that. But we also have a sweet one. It's because she's mine.
You let him know that every day, don't you?
Yeah, she knows. She knows. I do tell her, like, Nana, you know you love. And she's like, yes. I'm like, good. Good, because you are.
Yeah.
You
Um,
are.
we've had some people writing in. We do this thing where you get people to write in, and usually people give advice
Okay.
on situations. We have like 6 scenarios. Not something. It's not scenarios. They're real life situations, I guess.
Go for it.
Um, and a little bit about different topics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so we've got 3 from fathers and 3 from mothers. So the
Okay.
equal mix. And I think it really ties in with everything we were talking about. I feel like I did a good job picking them. But yeah, when we put it out, we got around 68 responses back. So to narrow it down to 6 people was very
Mm-hmm.
hard, but we managed to do it. Um,
Well done. I find narrowing things down really hard. So
yeah. You know what I did? I got a random number generator,
good.
put it around 6 times, and be like, number this, this, this.
Good way
So
to do.
yeah. So the first person, they said, "Dear Emily, I'm a working parent, and lately I feel like I'm drowning. Between long hours at the office and taking care of my kids, I'm always exhausted. My career is demanding, and I want to excel, but also don't want to miss these precious years with my children. How do I
Mhm.
balance both without burning out?"
Um, that would probably require to know her surrounding. So probably actually really assess and know who you can count in and who you can ask for help. It's not always easy, but you need to create a community and actually find someone when you can talk to, being able to express it. That's very, very important. There is an app. I'm not doing the pro, but I know there is an app for moms when you can just talk with all the moms. Sometimes you can meet. So being able to know that you're not the only one on that situation and to be able to laugh, not forget yourself, which is really, really hard, but remember the good. In terms of the hour at the moment, we know they don't match. So between the hours of the office and being with the Leo one, so it's very, very easy to lose ourselves. There's no magic solution,
Mm.
except maybe with them and Drew. When we will have to have that time based creating your community and being able to talk. There's nothing at the moment that can be done except talking, saying it out loud. Maybe express it to your employer that maybe you need to do something around it if they can support you because you don't want to burn out. Sometimes they actually like that you say that before the full burnout happened because it's not a win-win for them if you burn out, and it's not a win-win for yourself either because you hold the house. If you're not there and if you burn out, how is the rest of the house gonna run? So it's very important that each mom and dad take care of themselves. That's really, you need time to talk and being able to laugh about it. I think that's my strategy for everything. It's when you have a hard situation, being able to laugh with other people that are in the same situation. So it's almost having a weird humor. Um, but that's what it is. And be honest with the Leo one and accept that you can't achieve all of it. You don't need to excel on everything. It's okay to not do any things or to give full day. Leo one's going to be on cereals, always going to be like toast and beans and cheese. You don't have to excel all the time, and just be kind. Just be kind with yourself, and you're not the only one. It's 2 million UK family that face financial and mental strain. So you're not alone.
Dear Emily, I've just enrolled my child in daycare and I'm feeling a lot of guilt about it. I know it's the right thing for my career and financial stability as a single mother, but I can't help feeling like I'm failing as a parent. How do I ease this guilt and come to terms with the fact that I'm not the what I'm with the fact that I'm not the one providing all their care and attention?
Oh, so first of all, well done to you. It is super hard to put your child in daycare. You have the guilt. Know that you have the guilt. You don't need to you don't need to be working to feel that guilt. Even if you are a stay-at-home parent and you put your child at daycare to have some time for yourself or to organize the whole house, you will still feel that guilt. You're just the parents that come with that literally come with a job. The guilt come with a job. Um, that's great that you do something for you and which is work that you actually go to that step and that you can because not everyone can and you will make it work. The Leo one loves you no matter what, and you show your Leo one a great example. Like that's what you choose, and that's fantastic. You not don't forget yourself. Your Leo one will not forget you. You won't feel abandoned or you won't feel upset. That's not what it is. Don't worry. You're doing great. You're doing great. Just know that you're doing fantastic. Well done. And good luck for the juggling with everything because it's hard, but the guilt is a part of the job of being a parent. It's come with the worries and the lack of sleep and all of that.
I'm constantly juggling my job, family commitments, and personal life, but I feel completely burnt out. I'm often irritable and it's affecting my relationship with my partner and children. I don't know how much longer I can keep going like this. How can I step back and prioritize my mental health without feeling like I'm letting anybody down?
Any step that's very good that you're able to express it. Any step you will take needs to be for you and your well-being because everybody's well-being is what is the most important. Because if you don't have your head, everything crumbles. And when you have a family, it's can be very heavy. So definitely have a conversation. Maybe see with a therapist. There is professional. There is a lot of people out there who often actually were parents and experience the same difficulties. Who decide to support, which is like a lot can be like coach or therapist, and there is a lot of groups to support. Again, express it. You need to have a communication with your partner, being able to see your triggers and strategy how things can be done maybe differently. It's all down to talking. Like with my partner, we went to consult therapy actually to be able to relearn and know how to work together because you're a team. That's the things in that game of parenting and surviving life. You are a team, so it's how you know you're doing practice. You're in your practice, so just how can you work together? And sometimes you need someone extra to support you on that. There's nothing wrong or being ashamed of it. It can make wonders, but you need to be honest with yourself. What do you need right now? And sometimes you need to lay a step back, which is few days or a day for yourself and really assess what do you need to do. Now you're in a stage of life where you, and that's a hard part, need to be able to find your solution, but understand your problem. I remember if you're able to write down the problem, there's half of the solution down. So yeah, that
Absolutely.
you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. It's remember that each day, it's at so far your rate of going over hard days is 100% because you're still there, still making it. So you're doing great. And again, just accept that you're not in a good phase. That's valid. Yeah. It's weird to give it's weird to give advice or
You
things
know
like
what?
that.
It may be weird, but it's coming so naturally. I
It's
feel like it's, yeah, you're doing well. Yeah, I've got
I
the
feel
sense.
I feel not legit to actually give advice.
Mm.
So they for everyone, that's not really advice, that just from my experience. So for
Yeah,
maybe someone else, it will work completely different. I'm not
yeah,
a specialist. I'm not a professional. My specialty is in different area, but that's just how I work through the same challenges that I have. Yeah.
yeah. It's perfect, just the way that you're doing it. Um, I've been struggling with anxiety at work. Can't seem to shake off the feeling of never being good enough, or that something might happen to my child whilst I'm at work. I'm a parent and I want to set an example of resilience for my children, but the stress is overwhelming. How do I manage these feelings and build more confidence at work, whilst also being there for my family? Similar to the last question, but a bit different.
Okay. It's a bit different because the other one was more of burnout when this one has anxiety. So anxiety to take seriously because you will have same for the burnout, you will have a whole physical reaction actually will come to that. Um definitely talk or seek maybe advice on how to manage that. Being scared and worried for the little one, it will be to what extent? Is it that the little one will fall, or is it for the little one's well-being in itself? Understand really where are the pointers and how the triggers. The thing is, for parents and for mothers, we all come with our own experience
Yeah.
of life, and that the hard part is our trigger, not to passing on to the little one, because naturally they're there, and he's always fighting against them. Um, so is understanding us where we come from to know where we want to go. Again, there's no um magical word or
Solution.
potion. Thank you. I was looking for the word potion for that. It's you need to express it. Does if it's a daycare where your little one is, maybe you can mention that. So they can, if they use an app, maybe they can give you some more news during the day to support you with that. Because at the end of the day, for them, happy parents, it's happy children. Then with your work, you can, yeah, maybe mention it, see around, talk around, see with who you can relate, listen to other story, know that we are not alone. It is very, very common. So, but for the anxiety, that's not something I have experienced myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we said to maybe go and seek for understanding more where you come from, because I don't want to give you a bad advice on that.
Yeah. I feel like a GP is a good point of contact for that. Um,
Yeah,
the
there's but I'm in Birmingham. I know there's something called RAF, which is a number, and I don't have it in my head. They own non-profit organization. They also do doula. That's another thing I'm part about. Um, um, and they also have that line when you actually can call and just talk and go through. So, but there is others. There's groups, but definitely go into apps. There's moms apps where you just met with the moms in your area, so you can text or just even meet, like do like play date, and that can be a very big support. just because you know you're not the only one. And you can ask, if you have questions, you can put them on it and have people around you actually just answer to you. And so you're not feeling alone.
The next one is quite I feel like very universal. Like all the issues that we've spoken about so far is very common. But I feel
Yeah.
like there's often when I hear from mothers or they speak to me, it's always this issue that I hear so often. It's the person says, I feel like I'm carrying the weight of everything, my career, household chores, and child rearing. My partner doesn't seem to understand the emotional and physical toll it takes on me. I've tried talking to them, but nothing changes. How do I have a productive conversation and get the support I need without feeling resentful?
Okay. Um, I remember someone telling me that I couldn't handle being a woman because I always find the same charge heavy. And I actually would say that's for your partner, for him to understand maybe you need a third party. Because sometimes when it comes from someone else, it's easier for them to digest.
Mm.
Um, I think even for us as well, when we hear from someone else, it's sometimes easier to. There's more content of people talking about that. There's so it's choose maybe some different movie or the conversation. It would be hard to not go on the confrontations like straight away, but what can I say? Hold on. I'm mixing up a bit my head because I have so many things that actually come because it's so common. So common.
Yeah.
Your partner doesn't understand your side of the story because he's never been in that side of the story or never needed to be in that side of the story. So it's hard for him to put yourself in your shoes. And if you're saying it and he's only hear you saying it seems for him more a you issue than a him issue.
Mm.
Um, so it's his surround, like with the people you have around you. If there's other people who have a young family, understand that so you can have an open conversation, or probably a therapist. A couple therapist would be something good. Um, I would recommend definitely. But then I know it's both party who needs to accept to go to the counseling, and that's often hard. When we did my counseling, it was my partner who actually proposed, which I know I have a lot of friends. They proposed to their partner, and their partner said no. But there's no magical things, but you do need to take care of yourself. You need to take a decision because your well-being is as much important as anyone else in the household,
Yeah.
especially if you feel that you wear everything. And sometimes it's also misunderstanding. I've noticed, like in the couple, sometimes you can say the same things, but not just with different words. Or
Yeah.
every party feels like, oh, but I'm doing everything.
Mm.
We 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 have noticed that with Andrew, like the partner is like, but I'm doing also, I'm doing that, and the other side would be like, but I'm doing that. So both do actually a lot, but they're not doing what the other one is doing, so they don't see what the other one is doing. But it needs to be lay down. You need to definitely needs to talk. My advice for everything is talking it through. Talking it through. It's to talk about it as long as it's bother you, and to talk about it until you can't laugh about it or make a joke about it. So yeah, they're all important point of view. They're all important point of view, and they all legit because it's feeling overwhelmed, feeling that you have the whole weight of the world on your shoulder is absolutely legit because very often the mom's got it more than the dad. It's just simple as that. Since we are little one, we've been told that we have that responsibility to that responsibility to that responsibility. So it's and understand, maybe trying to not juggle as many plates, try to see what is necessary and what is not. And you can say to people or to your partner, I can't do that because I don't have the headspace.
Yeah.
If I do that extra, I will break. If I break, it's no good for nobody. Or this is my limit. At the moment, I can't do that. You can say that anywhere, even at work. Even at work, you can say like, listen, at the moment, I'm saturating. It's not going to work for any of the party. I need support. It's really hard to ask for support and ask for help, but we need to.
Yeah.
Before, we used to have children and family, and all of the family used to be around.
Yeah.
You used to be able to have cousins, sisters, parents, everyone were in very close proximity. And it was different because you didn't have the workforce load as well and all of the expectation. When now you have that. So there's more pressure now than there used to be before and less support. So we need to say when we need support.
Yeah.
And actually, more we will say it, more we will verbalize it, more it became the norm. Like right now, a lot of moms, and that's on us and all of us, me included. When we need support or when we're on the edge of break, we know we're going to break, but we're not saying anything like, no, I can do it. I can do it because I'm a woman. I can do it. It's going to ruin my health. It's going to ruin my mood. I'm going to be exhausting, but I'm going to make it through. You can, absolutely, but you don't have to all the time. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you have to just push through. And sometimes you can take a step back and say, like, I can't push through. I'm going to break. It's 66% of parents. So you're definitely not alone. And it definitely needs to be talked more about. Yeah.
That's all the seminars we have. It's like, I think we have like 4 questions and then it will be the end of our podcast. So just to let you know. But
It breaks my heart because it's so many who are actually in the same situation and you feel like you're alone because you don't have the time. And it's not normal to go out and say, like, I'm not okay today.
Yeah.
No, today I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm overstimulating. That's the other things, overstimulating for mom because you think about everything at the same time. So and we don't talk about that. It's a woman's issue, but actually no, it's everybody's issue.
Yeah.
If mom's not happy, nobody will. Nobody will. Because if mom breaks, everyone breaks with her. Mom breaks, the house fall down as well. So we need to take care and we need to talk. If we're not okay, we're not okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Looking back on our conversation,
Yeah.
what's the most important takeaway or message you want our audience to remember?
I think we are all on the same boat and we need to be kind with ourselves as parents. I'm talking to the parents audience. We need to be kind with ourselves because we never learned how to be parents before and we learn from what we saw and we start to be parents with our own luggage. So just be kind to yourself. Know that there's other options and speak up for yourself. It's not because you're parents that you have to suffer. It's not because you're parents that everything needs to be hard suddenly. And it's not because you get into parenthood that your life is over. How's it going to be when the children's not going to be here? It's just a moment. It's just a phase, and we need to make the best of it. It's a lifestyle that we choose. It's so it's to make the best of it. It's yeah, trying to be grateful, remembers, and everything you do, it's great and it's enough. Everybody is enough. The fact that you wake up in the morning, try to do something, keep going and doing to the next day, that's enough. That's good. Until you're actually able to function a minimum, you're doing great. You're absolutely doing great. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Are there any upcoming projects, events, or resources you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, we are actually, well, I'm gonna pass it on. We're actually looking to do more partnership and collaboration. So if there's out there any organizational parents who actually wants to see Em and Drew programs like happens more where they are. So that's something we want to work on because we want to work with actually like parents. We want to hear stories as well, people being able to share like you did. Because I remember one investor telling me, is like, oh, but who really needs that?
Mm.
And I'm like, have you recently seen the stats? And it's because parents are very good to not talk about their issues and their problem. So so yeah, we need to talk and speak up more. It's needs to become not it needs to be out of the taboo box.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm. So yeah, that's what I would say. Just message me on LinkedIn or anything to actually any collaboration, partnership, or if you want to share your story, because any story is valid and any story is actually important. Even if you had a great one and we want to hear more of the great story.
Yeah,
We know the hard experience, but we need to know about the difficult one. And we need to know that even if you start difficult, there's still there's still a
hope.
good yeah. I start my story very angry at society. And I made my peace with it. I'm very happy now. It's not easy every day, but I'm happy. So I want that for everyone.
Where can our listeners find you or connect with you to stay up to date with what you're doing?
Okay, so you can find me on LinkedIn. I must say I'm more active on LinkedIn. So or on the M Andrew page or on my page, which will be Emily Belibi. It's a French spelling. So it's Emilie. Um, then I'm also on Instagram with the same name, Emily Belibi. And for the M Andrew page, it will be mandrew.co. We have a website that you actually put an inquiry or request a chat or anything. And at the moment, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're also on Facebook, but we don't use that one much. But
Mm.
I would recommend more the LinkedIn or the Instagram to reach me. Definitely.
Finally, what is one thing that you're grateful for today?
Oh, for you to take the time for me. No, thank you so much. It was absolutely a pleasure to be there and have a nice conversation. I feel like I did more of a monologue,
You did amazingly. It was my pleasure.
but thank you very much for like considering me on your show. That was just very kind.
Okay.
Yes.
You're very inspirational. It was a very, I feel like, when we were in that event, I was like, this woman knows what she's talking about. She's really, really good. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's I thought you were actually like wonderful as well. Just for the background, we met at an event about like burnout and
I think it's entrepreneurship and mental health. I think that's
yes,
what the event was called.
yeah, that was the title. Yes, yes, good memory. But yeah, no, it's no, thank you so much. I hope we're gonna be able to see each other soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, if you're ever down in London, do let me know.
I will, I will. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, everyone who's listening.
Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. We hope it left you feeling inspired, informed, and empowered. Hearing about Emily's journey and the incredible work being done at Em shows that balancing parenthood, career, and mental well-being is not just a possibility; it's a revolution waiting to happen. Remember, creating a balance doesn't mean you have to sacrifice one part of your life for another. It's about finding space, people, and systems that empower you to thrive. Whether you're a working parent, an advocate for mental health, or simply someone looking to support family friendly initiatives, you're part of a movement that changes the world for the better. If this episode resonates with you, please share it with your community. Let's spread the message that we all deserve the tools and support to live our lives to the fullest. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It means the world to us and helps us continue to bring you inspiring stories and conversations. Stay iconic. Until next time.